What up, what up, what up, what up? It's your boy Big Dave. Y'all know what it is. What up, doe? Well, I got another banger for y'all. You dig? It's been a minute. It's not a denial, it's a delay. Sight is a delay, not a denial. I mean business today. Well, dig here. We're gonna do a part two of people who can't handle rejection. I got a few guests on here that's gonna get it on with me. What's up, Dane?
What's going on, Big Dave? I'm just here supporting the show. I just want to just say what up, though, to everybody out there. Real talk with Big Dave. So what up, though, show joining us. What up, though, East Skeezy?
What up, though, Dame D? What up, Big Dave?
We can't hear you, E.
Big Dave, can you hear me?
Unmute yourself. You muted. There you go.
You can't hear me?
I can't hear you, bro.
No sound?
Well, once you unmute yourself, we'll come on back in, E. But we here on Real Talk with Big Dave. So go ahead and lead it off, Dave. What we
Well,
talking about?
we're doing a part two of rejection. We got another guest on here that need to introduce herself.
What up, though? Peace and love. This is Doris, aka The Truth from Detroit.
What up, Doe? What up, Doe? Well, we got
What
one
up,
guy
though?
we having some difficulty. So once he come in, he's gonna come on in. Dane, can you introduce him until he come in so the people know when he come in who he is?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It's your boy, my co-host on the What Up Though show, your boy E Skeezy. E Skeezy, whenever you're able to come in, just come on in and talk, but right now we cannot hear you. Yep. So but yeah, definitely about to be a good show, good
Check,
conversation.
check.
You know, uh,
Breaker,
part
breaker,
two to
People can't handle rejection.
there we go. There we
Well,
go.
let's get
breaker,
off
breaker,
into this,
breaker.
man. Let's get off into it. People can't handle rejection, and I wonder why. I wonder why. Um, it's a lot of incidents that's going on out here with a lot of jealousy going on in these relationships. You got these guys coming into these homes with these women, they letting strangers into their home, not knowing them because they like them, because they might be a physical attraction or something they're very attracted to. And sometimes they don't think the way they should be thinking with their mind. They looking for just somebody to fill a spot that's been closed in them for a long time. And then they let this stranger into the crib, and this stranger gets to know the crib and know everything. Next thing you know, this stranger is taking over, and then one day this girl wake up and get rid of this stranger. And then he can't handle the rejection because he has so much control, he feel he needs to do something to prove a point. So Dane, what you think about that?
Well, yeah, it's pretty much like you said, a lot of young men out here can't handle rejection, and when they face with rejection, they normally handle their rejection with violence. You know what I mean? And we just had a show where we were just talking with Doris about domestic violence, so it's just all about trying to grow as a man or as a young woman, just trying to find who you are in yourself, rejection, we all get rejected, and it's just how you handle it. You can't handle rejection with violence, it won't get you nowhere but locked up or dead, so my advice to people is, just let it flow. If there's nothing wrong with being rejected. Like I said, we all get rejected at one point in our lives. You just have to handle it and move on and take your licking and keep it ticking, So I don't have any else thing to add to that part right there. But you grow. You just have to grow and be able to handle rejection without
Okay.
without being violent, I should say.
Well, Doris,
Yes.
I want a woman's point of view on this. Have you been rejected before and you couldn't handle it?
Not me. And I'm not saying that in a conceited way, but no, I haven't had any guys turn me away, but I turned away a lot of guys. But to put a perspective on it, if they were taught in a different way of how to perceive rejection, instead of not being a bad thing, they should see it as being a blessing. because it can be God's way of preventing, the person from being with somebody they shouldn't be with.
Okay.
Well, I just look at it like this. I think people get so caught up in their own lives and what they're going through in their lives, and they get lonely. And sometimes when they get lonely, they choose the first person that makes them feel good, that comforts them, and they fall for that. And some people, I think, do this with an agenda all the time. We seen a video a long time ago. It was a girl that was letting this bum guy, I call them bum guys, because I'm not here to knock nobody, but whenever a man got to stay in a woman's house, whenever a man got to stay in a woman's house and he ain't got his own, and he got to live with her and bring his bag over her house, and the minute she get tired, she's going to control him.
Yeah.
Remember that we seen that show when the girl pulled up at the gas station,
Right.
Yeah.
and started recording the guy and was dogging him in front of everybody, and you could tell he was getting agitated, like he wanted to get down,
Right.
Mm-hmm.
but he didn't because he knew he was on camera.
Right.
See, that's the stuff that trips me out. It's games being played, but you got people seriously getting murdered over rejection.
Yeah, you see it every day. We just recently did a show about that. About homosexual men. And it's leading up to what you were saying about
Yeah.
women trying to be dominant. Those type of men allow women to be dominant over them, because they don't at that time in their life, those type of men don't have anything to bring to the table but dick. You see what I'm saying? So so the woman is in lead, she's in control of that relationship. You know what I mean? So yeah, those type of men will allow for shit like that to happen. But those the type of men that what me and Derice was just talking about, having a conversation. Those men tend to be more aggressive and violent. So
Well, they just want control.
okay.
The word is control. And then, like me and Therese was saying on that first show, we have it's a such thing as we allowing things to go down the way that they go down. You don't have to just let someone in your house because that's the first person that made you feel happy,
Right.
that tried to talk to you. You don't have to let guys move in because you know they ain't got nothing, so you can control the situation when they ain't doing nothing they supposed to do but dick. Because that's all you want from them anyway. And when that get tired, you don't want that no more. Now you're like, oh, I want him to go. Then she sent him on his way with a stick with a bag tied on it like a homo. Derice.
Oh, wow.
Can you picture a guy walking down the damn freeway or the street with a stick with a damn bag tied to it, and he didn't get put out of Shirley's crib?
You know how long it's been since I saw that image, and I ain't seen that on since like when we was kids watching television.
That's where I got it from.
Wow. These days and age. But some women go out and look for guys like that so they can control them.
Right.
And then when they get tired of them, they want to get rid of them. But, even with that, that has, that a controlling manipulation, on a woman's part, and even when she has so low self-esteem to go look for a guy like that because she can't handle a real man.
Right.
And with that, part of rejection is a person have lack confidence in themselves and the ability to engage. So, they in the background, they feel like insecure that they when they be confronted with rejection, they don't know how to handle it.
Right.
And
Right.
so the only way they know how to handle it is to be aggressive and come back like they need to get back at that person because that person made them feel some type of way.
Yeah. You got something to say on that, Dan?
Um, I mean, pretty much I do have a question. I don't have anything to add to that. My question, why is it that we never in situations like that, like where we're talking about rejection, why don't we see the women on that end of the stick, like far as being rejected? Why is it always the men being seem like it's being rejected and they're always the ones that's being on the violent side? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like do we see the other side of the women being
Violent.
yeah, being violent, so I want to get off into that a little bit, if we can.
I'm glad that you elaborated on that. See, because I've been preaching that for a long time. I've been hold on, we having a little difficulty.
No, you good. And don't and excuse me, the Patron on kicked in a little bit, so I might be stumbling and bumbling over my words, but
Hey, it's all good. We feeling good. Hey, we feeling good. Everybody looking good. We making
yes,
this happen
sir.
today.
Yes, sir.
But let's get off into it because I've been preaching this for a long time and I've been in this situation several times.
Right.
Um, we try to ignore the fact that women do the same thing that to men that they do to them.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
You see, it's women looking for that home. And she want to live in that guy house and she come in marking her territory, buying microwaves and tea kettles and stuff like that. And then as soon as the war go down, she packing as she run out.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? It's like it's an agenda to get what you can get. But here's the thing about the rejection part of it. When you let somebody go, I understand it's a heartbreak. I understand your heart be hurting, but it should never turn to violence. Let's go back into the story a couple years ago when a young lady, successfully, black woman, that was a nurse, I believe it was Harper, and she had left this guy alone. He waited for her in the parking structure. Now, I don't know if I got the wrong hospital or not, but he waited for her in the parking structure.
Mm.
And when she came to get in her car, he pulled a gun out of her and threw her in her car
Wow.
and made her drive with the gun on her and took her to her apartment and murdered her.
Wow.
Well, I mean, what is this world coming to when you can just let somebody go? I understand it hurts. Believe me, breakups is hard. It's never easy.
Right.
But who said life was gonna be fucking easy? But to go and wait with somebody with a gun and then ruin their whole career in life because they don't want your ass no more,
Right.
it doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, and it goes back to what you were saying in one of your shows, these tender dick ass niggas. You
And
know what
that's
I
what it
mean?
is.
And because like I said, we've all been rejected. I remember my first time being rejected. Did was I hurt, but did I want to go out and do something aggressive or be abusive? No, I just took it in stride. And that's what a lot of us a lot of young men fail at. We resort into violence when we don't have to, and a lot of this comes from just, being having absent fathers at home, not being able, to explain to a young man or even a young woman, how to handle rejection. So a lot of this just comes from not having the fathers in the home being able to show and train your son how to handle rejection, I should say.
And that's a
Yes, I
fact.
agree with that. Mm-hmm.
Go ahead. Speak on it.
Yes, I agree with that because you know, as I was growing up, that right there, rejection, it wasn't discussed, you know. In a lot of homes it's not discussed. It's even not discussed in schools. So if you don't have the right upbringing and or right people around you to show you how to uh look at have another perspective on rejection and understand that when being understand this insecurities because a lot of rejection come from being
Right.
insecure at yourself more so and then is projected on the other person because of that.
Um, I get that. I get that. But the big picture of this is a lot of people put themselves in these predicaments and don't know how to deal with it. See, we all been guilty of it. We get into stuff for the wrong reason. If it's a man or a woman, we end up liking somebody, we bring them home, we don't get to know them, they're in our house with our kids. They know where my mama live. I don't know really nothing about them because I'm just so happy to have someone. And
Right.
then you let them in.
Right.
You let them in. And when these tender dick niggas get to the point, and like I said, I hate to use that term, but it's a fact. They tender. And not only that, they don't know how to act. There's something wrong with them mentally. Because
Yes.
let's go back to the story with the guy in Lansing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm repeating myself for a reason. But women and men are still doing it every day like they don't see the news.
Right.
That's mental.
Yes, it is.
That's a mental capacity. Whenever a man can go with a woman and she let him in her home, and to the minute she don't want him there no more, he comes back and rape her, climb through a window, rape her and beat her, and then take her child, and then they find the child on another side of town dead.
Wow. See, I didn't even hear about that story.
You hear about that?
No, that happened here in Detroit.
No, this is in Lansing.
Okay, wow.
Yeah.
He had met this female, and things didn't go right, I guess, and she let him go. He came back and climbed through the window, broke in the house, and sexual assaulted her,
Wow.
grabbed her 2-year-old baby, and they found her dead on the east side.
Wow.
And they call him Sterling Heights. So what's the purpose? That's mental.
Right.
Let's get big. Let's get real with this.
Yes.
A lot of us black men, we do not like talking to no damn doctors.
That's a fact.
We think it's a bunch of bull. We think it's just a money play.
Right.
Now let's get real with this shit. Money is always going to be made in whatever we do. If you're a doctor, whatever you go to school, whatever you get your master's in, money is going to be made. So that's number one. But a lot of us, we don't want to hear certain things.
Right.
And that's a fact. But it's a mental problem because I don't see nothing but a mental problem. Whenever somebody say, I don't want to deal with you, come on, let me tell you something. I done been through situations, I done threw women out my house, let them back in, threw them out, let them back in. I ain't never really been in a situation to be at no girl house for her to do that to me, and I ain't knocking her.
Right.
But some of these niggas need to get their own shit and get their own life together and quit being bums.
Exactly.
The minute the mama can't deal with them no more because they living in mama's basement with their shoes against the wall on the moldy wall in the basements with the surface mold that they living in and bringing their girlfriend, sneaking them in the side door, talk about be quiet.
Right.
And they 50.
And that's why I always say, Dave, and when I say this, I speak to women when I say this. And I say this to my daughter a lot. I'm like, when you look for a man, you look for a man who has his own shit, his own place, his own car, and his job, and some money and a couple of dollars in the bank. You don't want no nigga where you bringing him into your shit, he's not working, don't have nothing to offer. You know what I mean? Because the moment you get tired of his bullshit and you ready to put him out or ready for him to move on, here comes the domestic violence and here comes all the bullshit. So therefore, if you find a man who has all these qualifications that you're looking for in a man, you more than likely you won't have to deal with, a lot of the bullshit that you deal with a nigga who ain't got shit. A lot of women run into issues with men dealing with homosexual men, meaning that men who really don't have shit, and you're bringing him into a situation where you have things at your place, you got your shit together, but when it comes to time where you fed up with his shit and the things that he's doing, and you tell him he got to get out and go, that's when the problems come forward. That's when he start fucking your shit up, tearing your shit up. So yeah, I would like for you to go ahead and elaborate on that, Reese, and tell me what you think about that situation. Do you think it's those type of men that that really don't bring anything to the table? That's taking these rejections hard.
More so them. Because go back to a real man has confidence in himself.
Right.
And he's responsible. But these guys that's not responsible with themselves, let alone trying to be responsible for another being, those are the ones that have these underlying mental issues and insecurities. And when to go back and look at it, in my situation, is that, I took care of him.
Right.
So when it came down to me leaving, he was looking at he was losing
Everything, right.
because he didn't have nothing.
That's right.
Because everything in that house belonged to me, and so with me gone, he was looking at the fact I'm losing everything. I'm losing the kids. I'm losing the trust fund.
Right.
So in his head was, I got to get rid of her.
Exactly.
I get rid of her, then I can keep everything. I can keep my kids and plus have the money. But that's the type of guys that we go out there and look for.
So,
And because, we be in that position in ourselves, even the women in ourselves, we be in that position that, we got everything. So what do? All the guy can do for us is give us that dick. And so that's why, we go for guys like that, because we don't know how to handle a real man.
Right.
So, based on what you're saying is, in a woman's view, y'all going after dick. Y'all going after a guy that's physically attractive to you, and you're not looking at the bigger picture when you meet this guy.
No, because for one, we don't know what love really is. We don't know how to be treated. And so, that's why we end up, with the type of guys that we end up with, because we don't even know what we want.
That's man, and I agree with you. And that's the number one issue, Big Dave. The conversation that we talking about. Most people who come into a relationship, and I'm speaking for I'll say both sides. And I'll just say it for men. You come into a relationship, and you got your shit together. More than likely, I mean, you working, you got your shit together, you got your house, your car, your ride, a couple dollars in the bank, and you doing the right things. More than likely, that woman is going to take pride in that man. She's not going to disrespect you. She's not going to be so quick to tell you to get your shit and get the fuck on. You know what I mean? Because 9 times out of 10, she's in your shit.
Right. See, because at the end of the day, if you got your shit together, you don't have to go crawl in nobody else's home.
Right.
Right.
So when you meet this woman, you're on an equal playing field. See,
right.
You did. See, because if you ain't got shit, you're going to try to get all you can get from her.
Right.
And she might let you in because she's looking for that physical attraction at that time. And then if you do well, that's what she needed at that time.
Right.
But once she get tired of that and see she missing shit out here and her friends getting her ear, she want your ass out of there and you can't deal with it. But you should have been able to deal with it because you was on bullshit at the get-go.
Yeah, because a lot of these women see, and the issue that's going on with today's women, they're trying to compete with these women that they seeing on television. You know what I mean? With these, and they're trying to keep up with these women, and these men are I'm not going to say suffering, but we paying for this shit. You know what I mean? And what I mean by that, monetary wise, like far as your women trying to keep up with these other women, with this lifestyle. So but at the end of the day, to me, it all boils down to, just having your shit together, having your own, being a respectful man to your woman, and just doing the right things. You won't have those issues. You'll never find yourself being rejected by a woman, if you got your shit together.
Yeah, see, at the end of the day, it's all about, as men getting rejected by women, as women getting rejected by men. And there's just a lot of shit going on in this world that's just foul. So because you got guys that's bisexual, they sleeping with their woman or their wife and a man, and they ain't fucking telling her. So what you think that's gonna do to her when she find out and lose her mind? And guess what? That's her shit.
Yeah.
And she throw his ass out. Now he want to kill.
Right.
But he over here sticking a man and a woman.
Now that's definitely deep. That's definitely another conversation right there, But yeah, that's definitely a foul ass nigga, who doing shit like that.
That's a fact. And these women, the women show up at your door in sheep clothing, man. And when they get inside that motherfucker, once you let them in that door, they turn the werewolf on your ass fast.
Yeah.
Fast.
Especially the women of today, these new age women.
they come in and try to take over.
Yeah.
And you let them in and you like them to take over because you like them at that point.
Right.
And then when you start to see the foulness, you see the red flag. See the problem with men, and I ain't knocking us, brothers, so don't take it that way, because I get them women too. I ain't letting them get a pass either, God damn it. But that's not get it twisted. But our problem is we be wanting what we want so bad, we don't pay attention. We don't even get to know these people. We just having fun, fun, fun. And we be seeing red flags and we ignore them with a white surrender flag.
Right.
And then
Yeah.
when you can't take it no more, when you finally get aggressive with it, now you messed up. You're a woman beater, or you trying to control. No, I want you to lead. But what you should have did was being real with yourself in the get-go
Right.
and quit just rushing the process.
And I agree with you 100%. And most of us do rush the process. See, we've gotten away from what our fathers and grandfathers used to do. They would go out and court their women. And I don't know. Well, I know you guys know what courting is, but we've got out of touch with courting our women. You know what I mean? Taking them out, getting to actually know who they are before actually trying to sleep with them. You know what I mean? So I think if we get back into courting our women, getting to know them first before we try to get in their pants. A lot of this stuff that we're talking about, what we wouldn't even be talking about it.
I say there it goes back to iron sharpens iron. You don't have no real men out there to teach these young men all about that. And the shoe is on the other foot because a lot of women is tired of the guys dogging them out. So now they turning and they dogging out the men.
Yeah.
That's a
And
fact.
and it goes back into, structure. And it has not been enough structure since 1987. I say that's when everything flipped.
Right.
Mm.
See, and I'm glad you said that, Jurish, not to cut you off. Do you think that's why we have a widespread of lesbians going around today? Well, this just widespread of just men and women being gay.
Mm.
Yes, because the women is tired of the guys messing around on them, beating and abusing them. So it's like,
Mm.
let me go to a woman because a woman know what I like. She
Mm.
knows how to treat me. And that's why, it's the same with some of these men. A man knows what I like. He know how to treat me. And that's why we got a lot of this gayism going on.
Wow.
Because the guys are tired of being rejected by the women. And the women's just tired of being messed over by the men.
That's deep.
Well, you know what? I can agree to disagree with that. That's a fact because I hear it a lot. I hear it a lot from other women saying the same thing that you just said, the exact same way that you said it, that they get tired of men and run to women. But I'm gonna be real, Doris, and you know me, I keep it real.
Mm-hmm.
At the end of the day, I think most women that runs to another woman and most guys that run with other men are people that been wanting to do this anyway. They just needed a reason and an excuse to be able to do it so it don't look bad.
Wow.
Because I think women like each other automatically. And I'm not saying they're all thinking to go that way, but I think women, their culture is different from men. I'm gonna give y'all an example. I hear women all the time say they used to get each other dressed. That girl couldn't get that tight halter skirt up or them tight ass pants. They oiling her up. They putting shit around her stomach on saran wrap. And they all fighting to pull these pants up on her until she get them up and they about to bust off. And then they get her zipped up. And women can look at each other when they're undressed and be, oh my God, girl, I like how your boobs sit up. I like how your quads look. They compliment each other, they touch each other.
Right.
Can you picture some men in the damn locker room? Damn, dog, I like how your chest packs look, man.
Yeah, I can picture that.
Man,
There's gonna be some furniture moving in there. Hell yeah.
some walls busted open.
Right.
It's gonna be blood.
Now maybe if you in a Hollywood locker room full of men, that may be different,
Man, that
but
might be a nasty
you in there with
mess,
P.
man.
Diddy or something like that, you know what I mean?
No, that's all over. It's
Hey,
just
look
that
here.
women is more comfortable, in our skin
Right.
than the guys are. So, we can say that to a woman and, and it not be offensive or it be gay. So I would to say agree to disagree. What you said about that, yeah. But yeah, you got some guys in the locker room that be doing that. Come on now.
Hey, look, I ain't never seen it because I'm telling you, if they doing it, they doing it in the closet, baby.
Right.
Because
Yeah, because I've
guys,
never saw it.
man, women can be in each other's house, getting ready to go out. There be four of them in there undressed and looking at each other and helping each other.
Girl, you look
undress.
good. Look at your booty. You know, shit like that.
You know, you should wear that, boy.
Right.
Up in the powerhouse there.
Man, no, get your nigga in the room. Damn, man, you should put them black Fruit Looms on
Right.
instead of them white. Man, come on.
And you gonna hear the record scratch like we looking at him like, did dog just say that shit?
Hey, let's get real. We ain't gonna be in the same room, all 4 or 5 of us.
Getting dressed anyway. Yeah. So that would eliminate that.
And that ain't no knock. We ain't
Yeah.
knocking nobody. People do what the hell they want to do.
Right.
But all I'm saying is,
she's ill and needs medication. Attachment 3 more.
Yeah, but rejection, people handle it in all different types of ways. You know, most people handle it in with violence, so but we here today to try to talk to you guys about, just try to handle rejection in a in a sensible way where you're not getting locked up, you're not getting hurt, like Big Dave said, it's a way of handling things, being respectful. Sometimes you just got to bow down.
hey, well, see, let's just get real with this. Now, let's get serious. We had a little fun with it, but let's get real to the main meat of this shit, man. Listen, if people are dysfunctional, come from a dysfunctional household, like the said in the beginning, if you're not raised in your household to be able to handle certain things you don't know. See, I tell people all the time, when you have a kid, we try to do better and try to raise our kids better than we came up, even if we had a good life or a bad life, but we want to do something better.
Right.
So we try to teach our kids different, but where we lose them is we try to keep them from everything from the streets. They might be book smarts, but they gullible in the streets. They don't know how to know when they in their yard by themselves playing and a stranger walk up and say, hey, let me give you some candy. They don't know how to walk away from that and run because they so lost because we keep everything from them. We don't want to watch the news. We don't want to watch certain movies. We have everything from them when we should be teaching them. I ain't saying go overboard with it, but we should be teaching them everything they need to know so they'll be prepared and aware. So if you never learn how to deal with certain issues, when you get in a relationship with people and you don't know how to deal with them when they let you go, the only thing you understand how to do is move to violence. Because that's what you used to seeing on the streets when you do go out there. And you never got a chance to learn how to deal with no situations. So the only way you know how to learn with situations is what you see on the streets. Because remember, children emulate what they see.
Right.
And we was children and we grew up to be adult men and women. So the bigger picture of this is that there's a lot of mental stuff going on with these people that do this. Because I done been in rejections and I ain't gonna lie to you, I done said awful stuff, and that's a form of abuse. But I done said awful stuff, but I couldn't picture me doing no harm to nobody over it. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
It's not cool, period. Period. That's all I got to say about that.
Yeah, well, rejection is not always, handled on both sides in a positive way. My advice to young people of today is, try to have a little bit more patience. You have to be able to reasoning with being rejected. Maybe there's people that you can talk to, family members. There's certain hotlines you may be able to talk to, but never try to handle things in your own hands, because that never leads to nothing but death or violence. So I don't have anything else to add to that. I'll pass the mic back to you, Doris, and let you guys finish off on that.
Well, I say to look at rejection and if people look at rejection more in a positive way than in a negative way. They have a better understanding that there's reasons why you're not supposed to be with certain people. And
Facts.
being rejected um is it's just one of those things that is part of life. And understanding rejection, when you understand rejection and why people say no, then
Mm,
you'll be able to walk away in a better mindset. But
Right.
that's
when
a
you having your own insecurities about yourself, when you have lack of confidence about yourself,
mm,
when you don't know how to communicate with another person, then you don't want, excuse me, then you won't be able to receive rejection in a positive way.
exactly.
And you'll only know how to counteract rejection is back in a way of anger at
Mm,
somebody. But it's best to, say thank you and walk away than to, try to go after that person and harm that person.
mm.
Because in the long run, that's just gonna leave you somewhere in somebody's jail, or somebody coming after
Well,
you to do harm because you did harm to somebody else.
well, we're gonna, I'm gonna lead it off with a few things behind what she got to say before we get out of here. And at the end of the day, we got to learn to understand and respect each other. But the number one key for success is communication. And a lot of these problems come with the rejection because the communication is messed up. Okay. Number one is not honesty there. Is always an agenda. Number two, people doing stuff for the wrong reason. People don't get to understand each other to even get to know each other to understand each other. So it always leads to a bigger problem. It's never going to be right because people do these things for the wrong reason and they don't think about what they do when they want what they want. And some people have been messed up for a long time and never knew it because they never got help.
All right.
So at the end of the day, this rejection thing, one way or another, we got to try to figure it out because it still doesn't make sense for you to be killing no one's child, harming their family, trying to blow up their home. It's not that serious. It's just not.
All right.
You know what I'm saying? And it might be easy for me to say, because another person might can't deal with it more than I can. But what you have to do is understand, is it worth you harming someone and you going to jail or killing someone and you going to jail for the rest of your life? It's not that serious.
All right.
There's too many other women out here, too many other people out here, too many other things you can do. So I just wanted to hit y'all with this part two. I'm gonna ask my man Dame D, do we got anything to add to it before we get out of here, before I shut it down?
Well, I'm gonna add one last thing to it. I mean, no means no. We have to learn how to handle rejection. Whether it's something we want to hear or not. You have to learn how to, be a man and walk away. And live to fight another day. It's plenty of fish in the sea. So when one door closes, another one will open up. So like I said, get someone reliable to talk to. When you're going through any situation, but never try to handle it in violence. So I'm gonna say this, and I'll end it off with this. Just learn how to walk away, and that's it. And you'll
Well,
find yourself in a better situation.
hey, that was a good one, and that's the moral of the story. You got to learn how to walk away, no matter how hard it is, or you will never see your way doing nothing right in life.
Yeah,
You,
because if you don't, you won't have a chance to walk away.
no, and you don't want to ever be in that situation.
Right.
Well, look, y'all, man, I gave y'all another banger today. You know what I'm saying? I got the Reese Ray in the house. I got my man Dane D.
What up, though?
You know what I'm saying? And we've been here, and I'm gonna let them both tell you how to get in touch with them, where to find them at, and then I'm gonna shut it down with a special quote, and then we're gonna end this. You did. Let's go, Derice.
Love yourself. Learn how to love yourself. You learn how to love anyone else. You can reach me at WHOW number 2 LLC at gmail.com.
Okay, and it's your boy Dame D. You know where you can reach me at. But before I give that out, I need for you guys to like, comment, subscribe, and share. It helps Real Talk with Big Dave shows grow. A lot of y'all been watching the channel but have not been subscribing. We need for you guys to make sure that y'all sharing, subscribing, and hitting them like buttons. You know, he's putting out good content. So he need for you guys to reciprocate that and back in likes and making sure you guys subscribe and actually share the channels. So I don't have anything else to add. You can meet me. You can reach me at the What Up Doe Show on YouTube, Facebook, and all other social media platforms. And I'm out. That's it. Peace.
Yeah. Well, y'all heard it. Y'all heard it from the camel's mouth. And then, like I said, y'all know where to find me. Real Talk with WIT, Big Dave. YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, Facebook, Big Dave Crawford. Y'all know what it is. And the special quote for today is, do not let no one make you feel less than a person. And that's real talk.
Peace.
Peace and love.